I'm Anne-Marie from Brambleberry. Thanks so much for joining me on today's episode. Today I'm going to be showing you an advanced cold process soap making recipe. It's advanced, well, because it has a few steps, including some frosting and some piping. If you haven't made soap before, not to worry, Brambleberry has you covered. Check out in the studio, the tab at brambleberry.com for lots of beginner recipes. In addition, if you have any of my 3 books on soap making, they always have basic cold process recipes in them so that you can learn everything you need to know before you get started. The fragrance that we're using for this recipe is part of our Holiday Gala collection. It smells amazing. It's called Cranberry Cocktail. And out of the bottle, I feel like it really smells, well, very cranberry, very tart, very sweet, some really amazing general cranberry cocktail notes. And in the soap, I get a lot more green notes, so much more fir and herbaceous notes. I can't wait to hear what you think about it. The very first part of this recipe is to prep your embeds. So these little guys are actually made out of the low sweat, light cold process melt and pour from brambleberry.com. It has less added glycerin in it, so it's less prone to form glycerin dew. It's really easy to do. A few hours before you're making your soap, just get the Brambleberry 9-ball cavity embeddable silicone mold. They're really easy to release from. Get yourself some light cold process melt and pour soap. We're using the Merlot color block from Brambleberry, and melt it down and just pour into here. Let these sit. I just poured glooped all over the place. Well, there we go. That's what happens when you have a little bit of a skin that you didn't deal with. But you know what's really great about this is once these come out, I'll just be able to pull that entire kind of skin off. No harm, no foul. We can totally save it. That's the nice thing about melt and pour. It's very forgivable that way. So once these are poured, you just let them harden for about 2 to 3 hours on their own. You could put them in the refrigerator for 30 minutes if you really wanted to, but that's how you end up getting that glycerin dew, that kind of transfer between the cold and the warm. Kind of think of a soda can. So if you can let these harden at room temperature, all the better. So first, before we get started, I've actually got all my oils weighed out. And this is a pretty fun recipe. It's got avocado oil and avocado butter in it. It's really luscious and creamy. I'm gonna suit up for safety, of course, because, well, we only get one set of eyes and I don't like lye burns. So suiting up for safety also means your kids and pets are in another room. You have your whole area pretty well ventilated, and you have a solid hour kind of to work with this. I have my lye water mixed already with the sodium lactate already added to it, and all my oils pre-mixed and already melted. And now it's just a matter of getting to the correct trace, which is gonna be kind of a thin to medium, because since we have a few layers to work with, we wanna make sure that we have enough time to work with them all. So now I'm just pouring my lye water, which is mixed with my sodium lactate, slowly in, and get all the last of it. Turn on my stick blender and just kind of moving it around to make sure that I'm not just right in the middle right here, because that'll help get an even trace. And this isn't really traced yet. It's just very thinly emulsified. It's far too thin, so I'm just gonna give it a little bit more on the stick blender. Now I'm gonna separate this because I can always make these thicker in their individual containers. For this particular recipe, rather than going by volume and kind of eyeballing it, I'm gonna do just about 30 ounces by weight of the soap into this container. And whenever you're making soap, make sure you're using, of course, a heat-safe container that can also withstand chemicals, and pour gently and evenly and carefully. In this case, my scale weighs out into the 100th of a gram, which is really nice. And so I've got a perfect 30 ounces. And to that, I'm going to be adding my Merlot colorant from Brambleberry. And the Merlot color is a really great, fantastic colorant to work with because it's color fast, meaning it doesn't bleed and it stays stable. Just about 2 tablespoons of this. And of course, I've pre-mixed it already in just a little bit of a lightweight oil to make sure there's no clumps and make sure it's really nice and free-forming. So now I'm just gonna whisk this in with a little bit of fragrance, and I'm just gonna kind of eyeball the fragrance, about half-ish, a little less than half. And I can always stick blend this, remember, but you can't go back to a Can't go back to a thin trace. You can only get a thicker trace. So I am gonna hit this with the stick blender just a little bit after I have my mold fully prepped. One of the keys for getting that diagonal look on this is that we're gonna actually prop the mold. I'm gonna use a scale and a towel to get the right kind of angle here. And that's the way you get the really cool angled look in the soap. So, scale, move this out of the way. And now I'm gonna get my 5-pound really awesome sliding bottom mold from Brambleberry. It's called the sliding bottom mold because it literally has a bottom that slides out. So this can be pushed out from the bottom or the top. I do have it lined already with the silicone liner. Really like to use the silicone liners, but you don't need to. You can always use a little bit of freezer paper if you don't have the silicone liner. I'm gonna give this a really quick stick blend just to make sure we're at a really good thick trace or medium trace. Because I need this to flow and be even, but I also need it to harden pretty quickly so it can withstand the next layer of soap. So I'm just gonna pour down the sides here. You don't wanna pour all the way down the side, because if you do pour all the way down the side, what ends up happening is you end up with kind of little, well, gloops or glops down the side, which you don't want. I'm just gonna scrape this out, but don't worry, I'm gonna settle this soap so it ends up looking more even than this, so that way our lines are a little bit straighter. Pretty good to me. All right, that last little bit that I got out with the spatula, because obviously I don't want to waste not want not, actually ended up being a little thicker than I was expecting. So I'm just going to smooth it so that my layers are actually very even. So I'm just going to give this a quick smooth, and that will make more even layers when we do cut, which is, again, it's a personal preference thing. It's not even a big deal. All right, next layer is going to be our green. And I need just about 18 ounces for that. So I'm just gonna give this a quick whisk, and then I'm going to measure out 18 ounces. And my 18 ounces is because not only does it make the green kind of thin layer, it also is going to be the piping that we use for our leaves for the very top. And that's gonna be pretty funny to watch me pipe. I'm actually not very talented at it, despite taking multiple cake decorating classes at this point. Just not my forte. This is the green chrome oxide from Brambleberry. I've got it pre-mixed already. It's very, very, very strong. A little bit goes away, a long way. So I'm just gonna use 1/2 of a teaspoon for that. And I'm gonna mix this in and then add some fragrance as well. Just gonna eyeball that. So now the key is I just want to pour enough to get a thin line here. So I'm just gonna keep this real fluid and pour slow and slow. Low and slow. And I'll just keep working it. We just want a thin line, and low and slow wins the race here because we're using this awesome easy pour container. So I can be very precise. And this is really gorgeous, and I think I've got it fully covered except all the way down here, so I'm just gonna do this, and then we're just gonna set this green aside because this is our frosting. Now this is not quite as smooth as I want it to be, so I'm just gonna try to smooth it out. This is just me being persnickety, quite frankly, because this looks just fine, but just a little bit of agitation, and I'm much happier with how smooth it is. And now it's time to work on our white. So the white is, of course, everyone's favorite titanium dioxide. It's got such great whitening abilities. And I'm gonna do 3 tablespoons. I notice that sometimes titanium dioxide does accelerate my trace just a little. So I'm gonna get my white in there, and I'm gonna get the rest of the fragrance in there before I start to whisk in. So that way I am ready to pour if it does start to and it doesn't really thicken it that much, it's just a little bit. It almost acts like a clay in the soap I've found. And this is just gonna give our yellow soap, right? It's a little yellow because we're using base oils that are vegetable oil. So it's just gonna give it just a little bit of a more opacity or opaque look. Now there's a couple ways to do this. One, I can just kind of pour over this, and so I'm gonna just kind of jiggle this and see, do I think the green can sustain this layer? And I think it can. This is actually, if it can't though, we'll know right now. It's doing okay, so I'm just gonna kind of gently pour down And if it couldn't have, like say I broke through in that layer, what I would have done is poured this over a spatula to break up some of that kind of surface tension as I was flooding into the mold. It's a technique actually that's called flooding. And now, got it mostly filled, and I'm going to, because there's enough tension now on this side, I can actually put this flat and kind of work on my texture for the top now. So here we go, and gently down. Ah! Whew. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and take my spatula, get this all out, because we waste not, want not. We don't want any of the soap left over. And fill that mold right to the brim, give it some good texture. Make sure we're not leaving any of that soapy goodness in our container. And there we go. Whew, I'm making a good mess over here. And now it's time just to kind of work on our top. And I poured a little bit over here, so I'm just gonna displace the soap over here a little bit more, make it a little more even. And I'm gonna take this opportunity before I manipulate this top and actually fill my piping bag with this green while it's still just a little bit fluid, because otherwise it's gonna be real tough to get out. So here I have the piping bag. It's already set up right here, and we just have to make sure that the tip, you've cut the tip. We didn't talk about that, my bad. So this tip is actually cut in a point, and that point is what's going to allow you to make your leaves. You'll see when I get started. Okay, this green soap that we made earlier is pretty thick, so I'm just gonna spatula it in, and which is good. That means less waiting for us, so that's actually just fine, but I just wanna get it all the way in without having it go all over the place. There we go. Okay, there's just a little bit more, so I might put that in. Okay, and if you had a cup that you were able to drape this over right here, that'd be even better, but I did not have a cup that was that right size. So I'm just gonna take the last of this green, try and get it in there. There we go, good, good. Now, back to my white top. Let's manipulate this a little more. Let's see what I wanna do. So now I'm just gonna texture, and how this kind of works is I'm just gonna texture kind of, I don't know, about a third of the way over to give myself this side. And what this side is where I kind of end up putting my cranberry seeds. The cranberry seeds are such a fun addition on the top. I'm doing pretty deep grooves, and that's because it provides interest and really creates some, multi kind of varied textures and lines up on top. So I'm doing pretty deep. This is not even a teaspoon. This is literally like one of these little weird decorative sugar spoons, but you use whatever you want. So now that I've got that, this side is where I'm going to be piping my leaves and putting in my embeds. So one of the things I really like to do when I have to do this freehand is just kind of do a little practice. And that means I can kind of check my consistency, see how it's going. Like that was not the world's best one. And you can see there's practice ones from the last ones. And then of course, it's nice because when these harden, you have beautiful leaves that you can use for another project. So with this right here, we're gonna make our leaves first, trying to leave a little bit in the center so we can have our little embeds, our little, cranberries be put on top. So the way it works is the big part of the leaf is in the middle, and you kind of wisp out. And remember, you can, of course, overlap those leaves. And this process, because of the way our soap works, actually gives so much time. And this is just a testament to how great this fragrance oil is. I mean, how long has this green been sitting here? Like, I don't know, solid 5 minutes, 3 minutes? And so here we have our soap just kind of being piped down into leaves. And it's really great because like I said, am not the world's best piper, like at all. But just the idea is so clear that anybody looking at this with the cranberry embeds on top is gonna be like, oh yeah, those are cranberry leaves. That looks exactly like a beautiful cranberry leaf. So the key again is just in that kind of prep for your piping bag. So the piping bag just being cut into that triangle. So now I'm almost done with this, and I have to say these look so cute. I love this design, and I can't wait to put on my cranberry my little cranberry balls, my cranberry embeds, and finish this off. Now this one I'm not gonna wanna, now I have some extra, so I'm gonna put my cranberry embeds on first while this is still kind of wet, and then I'll just pipe the rest, because you never know. I mean, these are fun to have for something later to use, so make sure you don't waste any of these. So then with this, what you're just gonna wanna do is you're just gonna wanna kind of look at it and eyeball it and go, okay, how many of these can I actually fit in here? Because you want each bar of soap to get at least one, if not 1.5 or 2. And so I'm kind of just placing them a little bit to the center of each leaf. And that way each leaf gets a kind of perfect design situation going for it. And with this, because of the titanium dioxide in it, and because I really don't want to get a partial gel phase, I'm not gonna put this on a heating pad. And that's because sometimes with titanium dioxide, when you gel and you gel pretty hot, you'll get these things that look kind of like titanium dioxide rivers. So they actually look like rivers in the middle of your soap. And I don't really want that because there's so much white in this design. So I am not gonna gel this soap. I will spray the top with rubbing alcohol once this is all done to help prevent some soda ash. But in my experience, I haven't gotten a lot of soda ash with this recipe because we poured it at such thick trays to start with. And now that this is all done, I'm gonna grab my cranberry seeds and just gently and carefully sprinkle them on this side for that kind of final look. And I'm gonna take my glove off primarily so I can just kind of feel the cranberry seeds. So here we go. You guys, this looks so pretty. I'm so excited about how great it looks. And, I cannot wait to use this myself, give it away. And of course, if you are someone that sells to stores, this is a fantastic holiday bar. It'll be ready to kind of pop out of the mold in about 2 days. And of course, I made one for you earlier, so I'm gonna show you how to cut them. Then this needs to just cure for like 4 to 6 weeks before you package it up, you give it away to sell, or use yourself. So this soap was made 2 days ago, and it's gonna be a little bit soft just because it's only 2 days old, but there is sodium lactate in there, so that really should help with our hardness. I'm using a non-serrated knife to give this a really quick cut. You'll notice that these are perfect spacers to really be able to cut evenly down the soap in between the little embed, little topper balls. And so nervous. It is definitely a little soft, but it's good enough for you guys to be able to see. That looks fantastic. There's a little bit of white that kind of slid down. And so with that, you can actually just wash that right off. You can wipe it off. So give it like a day to kind of harden up a little bit. And you can use a little bit of cold water and like a pantyhose, quite frankly, just to wipe that white off. What I'm gonna do though, so I can cut another one, I'm gonna wipe my knife down. I'm gonna try cutting it again. And I might try cutting it from the side this time and see if I get less white drag. So I'm gonna try that. So I'm gonna try cutting from the side. And this, of course, is a little bit more hard because you're trying to not drag your cranberry seeds down. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And let's see if that gets me a slightly better result when it comes to that white drag. So I'm just gonna pull straight down like this. There we go, much better, absolutely perfect. I love how that turned out. Fantastic, and it smells so good. And yeah, it sort of says fall and Christmas, but quite frankly, this is definitely a fragrance you could use all year round. It performed beautifully in the soap. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. And when you're making products, we really want to see what you're doing. It's so inspiring to us, so inspiring to the soap making community. So hashtag it Bramble on whatever social media medium you're on. Until next time, happy soaping.